questions. Anybody else have any others coming in that don't? I got questions from Lee Sorensen, which is covered by Gordon and Dennis, and then the triggers sending questions. Anybody else? All right. Well,
I think Chris, I had emailed you some earlier in the week.
Okay. Let me see here.
Do you want me to forward those to the info?
No. I'll look at them. I've got this other computer here.
Okay.
And Chris, I guess I'll have some questions as well as we go along.
Yep. Hopefully we'll cover them all. We get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, it's quite simple.
All right.
So Dennis, who will you be racing with?
I'm gonna be racing with Lee.
Okay, great. So did you work with Adam then?
Adam? No, I haven't worked with Adam yet. This is my first time. I haven't raced with any of the guys yet, and I'm really excited to do this for the first time. I've never done any sort of serious karting in my life, so this is going to be something first for me on every front.
Okay.
I did the Skip Barber Racing School, the 3-day basic, the 2-day advanced, and their shootout. And that's pretty much all the experience that I have that I'm bringing into karting right now, which is still a lot more than nothing. But in this particular case, I don't have much experience.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we have everybody now. Hey, John. Did you bring enough food for everybody, John? No? All right. Cool. Thanks so much for joining us for this. We're trying to make this smoother every time and try to address any of the questions that come up and that get left out of the rules. And so I'll tell you that there's been some feedback given on the rules about a few things, and we'll talk about those as they go and what's under review for maybe a slight tweak before we get to the final event. But I'll address the questions that we have, and then we'll get to that, do question and answer. Actually, after I go over these questions, then we'll kind of address what the things might be under review, and then finally we'll do open question and answer. So the first thing is I really want all this feedback and do this because I want it to be something that everybody enjoys and has a great time, and we are making, for us, a lot of changes to the rules, and we want to make sure that we don't miss anything or have something that causes a problem. So I appreciate all the feedback. So our first list of questions that are going to come through is from the Triggers. They are a new team for us. That is the Scuderia Veloce, and they are going to be racing in the rookie class. And so there are a few questions about facilities. Will there be Wi-Fi at the track? Yes, there is Wi-Fi available at the track. One of the great things about this facility that we have chosen, one of the reasons is because it has top-notch facilities like having Wi-Fi available. It has a viewing tower, which is right next to the fishbowl that is the scoring tower, so you get good visibility. Each team will have a place for a marked-off place that they can stand and observe and see the whole track, which is better than some of the places we go to. Another thing that is great is there is food available there at the track. We've made arrangements with the concessions so that they will be open and have food, the appropriate food available during the times that we are there. They will have a place where we'll be able to place orders for it, and then the team can send a driver to go pick up the order and bring it back to their tent area. And so as on the schedule, there's little ranges of time where the food will be available, and we'll have ordering available in advance when you're there to be able to get the team orders in. So it brings us to the tents. One of the size questions on the tent is a 10 by 10 tent size that will be provided for each team with a table, and usually there'll be 4 chairs, but I'll see if we've got teams that have more drivers to make sure we have enough for the whole team to have a tent or have chairs with it. Also with that in your tent will be water. You'll have a case of water there 24 bottles of water, and then there is room behind each of the tents to be able to set up an additional tent if you want to bring your own for that. That was another question. Equipment question about the timers. The $75 is a rental price, and somebody asked what would be the benefits of the timer. Basically giving you feedback to make sure that you're getting your best lap in every time. And over the course of these long stints, you can be alone sometimes, and it's really good to have that feedback to help you make sure you stay on your lap times again and again and again, because it can get lonely out there at 3 a.m. And you're running by yourself and you're going, where is everybody? And you kind of lose focus. So it's good to have the lap times to reinforce that you're doing well. Let's see. Do teams need to bring weights in smaller increments than the 5-pound increments provided? It's not a bad idea because there's going to be some weight variation through the stints. It's a good idea to be able to put a bean bag or something like that in their pocket and be able to ballast up to make sure that when you come in that you're at your minimum weight. Certainly. I know we've had little pieces of lead we wrapped in duct tape at times to put in our pockets to, do 2 or 3 pounds here or there. Next question I've got is, how early will fuel be available via a cart swap? The answer to that is will be 15 minutes after the beginning of the race. So after green flag, you'll have it'll open, and you can go in and do a swap, which will be a 3-minute change. Now, from the rules, there was the first rendition of the rule that went out had a contradiction in them, and I tried to address that in a forwarding email. One of them said that timing for the stints began at pit out. That was the first one. And then the revision was that it would be at pit in, and that's what the diagram said. I think we had contradiction. So what will happen is this is a super long pit lane. So you're going to have 3 stops coming down the pit lane. You'll stop at 3 different lines. There'll be a kind of thing up like this, like a candle cone, like we call a candlestick. It's about 4 feet tall, and then they'll have a piece of tape going across. It's yellow, and you'll stop at each one of those, and just past the last one of those will be the timing line that will begin and end the stints. So very clearly, the driver getting out of the cart's time will end when they get to that portion of pit lane. You cross there. As soon as they cross that section, it becomes the next driver's stint starts. And that includes anything that falls under cart swapping, penalties, or, the 20-second driver change.
Chris, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How long, once you enter pit road, how long does it take to get to the timing line, would you guess?
I'll tell you what, I can run a timer. I've got a video of it, and I would have to run a timer on it. I would tell you that it probably would take you 20 to 30 seconds.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. I think that should be stressed when you're talking about the stint length.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
And so for the incoming driver, they will have 3 minutes of their stint used up on a cart swap before they get on the track?
Yes.
And an incoming cart that is in a group of carts coming in could actually have longer than 30 seconds to get to the final stopping point. So can you be penalized while you're on pit road trying to get to the final stopping point? If you crest the 46 minutes, will you be penalized if you're actually on pit road?
Yes, you will. You have to make it to that line. Unfortunately, we can't monitor everybody who's trying to make it.
Sure.
If you do make it, here's the thing that will not hold you up necessarily, is that if you're behind 2 carts and you're coming in, if all 3 of you stop at that stop at the same time, you don't have to stop again. So as long as everyone in the line and like a train comes to a stop, you can go. Not everybody has to stop with the person in front of you and then stop again like you do at a stop sign on the street. As long as everybody stops together and you do come to a complete stop, you can go. You just have to be stopped behind that line. It doesn't have to be right at the yellow tape.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. And I think does that clear up the question there for you, Connie?
We were just curious about whether the fuel stops were included in the 24 hours of driving, and when you think about how you're dividing up your stints, and I think you've answered that question.
Yeah.
So they will stop at the line, then the outgoing driver will pull up to the cart swap area. No, it says that the incoming driver gets out. It goes to the driver's swap area. The new driver gets in. Then the new driver goes up to the cart swap area and gets into the new cart. So there's a double seat thing going on there.
Yes, there is. There was a lot of thought given to that process of making the driver change just happen at the other area where we did all that at one time. But just to keep everybody's flow the correct way, just to do the driver change first. That way the driver who is getting out, a lot of times we're seeing people that are fatigued a lot at the end of that, and it's better to just go ahead and get them out of the cart and the driver that's getting in be the one that helps move everything over to the new cart. Now you can have two additional people there helping you with the cart swap. And it's not really made clear in the rules how exactly the cart swap works, so I'll kind of try to cover it a little bit. You do see that there are cones marked on the diagram that show the cart swap area. So the carts that will be going out will all be lined up on the right side, and they will not have a number on them. They will not have, because you'll be moving your number and everything over from your cart that you're getting out of. You'll pull up next to that, and then you will move the, you pull up to the first one in line. So if the first one just pulled out, then you'll be pulling up to what would be the second space for the second cart. And so once you do that, there we go. I muted Dennis there. He's making some noise. There we go. All right, I'll unmute him now. So so you'll pull up next to the cart, the next one that's ready to go, and you will then move your equipment over and then go. You cannot cherry pick a cart. You have to take the next cart that's in line. The carts that when they come off the track will go immediately into mechanical. You will not be able to see those carts. Then they will come back out and get back in line. Everybody who does any cart swap will be like a fuel stop, and it will equate to a 3-minute hold. So in some 24-hour events, they do cart swaps, and it turns into a cart hunting exercise where people spend as much time as they do racing looking for the right cart to try to pick a cart. This isn't what this is about. This is to try to balance so that everybody gets a good variation of cart throughout the entire event.
Is there a 20-second hold when you change drivers if it's also a cart swap?
Yes. And
when does that take place?
That happens right before the cart swap. So as soon as you're in the driver box, as soon as it gets into that box, it will the driver change time starts.
So the old cart is held for 20 seconds with the new driver in it.
Yep.
It then proceeds to the cart swap area where the new 3-minute clock starts.
Yes, there'll be a new 3-minute.
Okay, so it's a 20-second hold on the old cart with a new driver. Old cart, new driver goes to driver swap area, gets into the new cart, 3-minute clock, released, back on track.
Correct.
Okay.
Chris, I have a question.
Yes, Bill.
How many carts will you have ready in the cart swap area?
4.
4.
So what I'm trying to do here is keep it the same as it was with a fueling time. People have said this is going to be mass chaos. We're going to get in there. We're going to get screwed. We're not going to be able to get a cart and go. And the answer to that is it's going to be just like fueling, except we won't have the risk of fueling under pressure with our guys. And the upside for us is each cart that we take in will then go in for a mechanical examination at that time and make sure that that cart is at its highest level.
Okay. I had another question. I know that Patrick brought up the idea of possibly instead of having each team do the minimum number of fuel stops that they can, to go ahead and say that each team needs to make 12 stops to really encourage not everyone coming in at the same time. And I wanted to see if that had any credence with you.
That's one of the things that I'm considering. I think that just like we've done in the past with the changes, with it being 45, I think that I don't know if that's a challenge I want to remove at this time.
Okay.
There are certain things that you have to balance with coming in, and I think that I'm inclined to stay with the same number of changes that we have right now.
Okay.
But I will, after we have this call today, any other changes that will be made will come out before Monday.
Sure. Another question: as far as the pickups into the tanks, will the carts run 2 hours and 10, 2 hours and 15 minutes?
To be completely frank, we have not done a complete fuel run at this track. We have run this track similar to this. Jacksonville has a similar run to this. We feel that the 215 is a conservative number that should be able to be met. We were checking all the pickups to make sure they're all going to the bottom. They're not getting any curls. Dan, of course, is doing his usual work in getting these things ready. And so I feel very good about that. We will have a complete fuel run the week of the event while we're there. We're going down on Monday, and we'll be there, or Sunday, and be there the entire week leading up, and we'll have run several different carts to a complete fuel run to make sure. We can't do them all, but we will make sure a good sampling for what we know with them to know what to expect.
Okay.
Chris, could you go over what the driver obligations are when a cart swap is made? Do the drivers move the number? Do they move any kind of timing device? What actually happens?
The up to 3 people can be there to move it. Yes, we will have people there monitoring the transfer, and if there's a question about something, to do it. But you will have time to be able to practice that. 3 minutes should give you plenty of time. Anything that is on there, which will include your transponder, your 2 number plates. Those are the things. That's all we require to be able to get moved over. Okay. If you have a timer on the steering wheel, you would probably want to, if it's a Micron, you'll probably want to have a teammate there with a socket wrench to move that, and some snips to take off a zip tie if you've got the transponder pickup on there to move, replacement zip ties. 3 minutes is a long time. It should actually give you plenty of time to be able to do it. Your number 1 obligation is to stay out of the way of anybody else that might be coming in for cart swaps, because we don't want you getting run over either.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I've got another list of questions here. Let's see if it spurs any additional questions. This is from Lee Sorensen, and I guess we've got Gordon and Dennis representing that team. And so how you control pit lane speed. The 3 stops coming into the pits will control the pit lane speed. You have to stop at all 3 spots, and if you do that, then there's really no way to be coming in a pit lane. If you still find a way to be reckless and hot, which I've seen people do, then you will be held at the exit. So it's up to you to make sure any of these, in the rules you'll see the holes, those happen at the end. These are the best times I see these to be applied, because we see unsafe pit entry sometimes, or we see reckless driving on pit lane. That ends with a hold right after the driver change. That additional 30 seconds right there can really hurt, if that's how long it is. How will number plates, transponders, timers be attached to the carts? Will tools be required to swap them? No tools required for the number plates or transponders. The timers. Hi, Gordon. I hear you. He said he's here, but his mic doesn't work. The timers will be attached to the steering wheel. They have a holder, and I don't think that we're going to have a tool to move those. but I will make for our timers that we'll have available for rent. The Microns do generally require that. Bottled water available, yes, we'll have the case of water for you, and there is water in the restrooms too, but from the sink, and there are restrooms right there at the tower. Again, very nice area. There are showers available at the main track area, which is directly behind. It's a good little walk over there, probably a couple minutes to walk over there. The tent comes with a table and chairs, as I talked about. Try to make sure we have enough chairs for each team member. And we talked about the tent covering additional tent. There is room for additional pop-up. And in regards to that, there will be power available as you see on the diagram, because we're going to have 2 light towers there that will be facing out toward the main track, and we're going to run extension cords from those over to the tent areas where you see marked for power. Now, when I say power, that doesn't include things like a lot of incandescent lights, heaters, anything that draws a lot of amps or watts or any of those kinds of electrical stuff. It's going to be more for running a laptop or charging radios or some LEDs and things like that. Those are what their power. If you need additional power, some people will have generators, and if you have a quiet generator, it can be relatively close to the tents. But if you have a loud generator, then you'll be asked to maybe go to the store and buy another 100-foot extension cord and put it as far away from everybody as possible, because we won't have top fuel dragsters running right beside our tents, because that's what those things sound like sometimes, especially after you're like hour 12, 13, 14, it's 2 in the morning and that generator won't shut up. So we reserve the review for that. And let's see. All right, I think that covers those questions. Did I open any new questions?
Chris, could you tell us what the expected average lap time is?
The expected average lap time will be around 58 seconds.
Okay. Chris, I've got a couple questions if I could ask them.
Sure, of course.
You went in and talked about cart damage and so forth, and I think that's a great idea that, as the carts come in, make sure that people aren't running off track and so forth. I have watched a number of videos, and there are 2 sections of the track that, for me, are very potential big spots for the carts being damaged. One is between turn 3 and 4. There are rumble strips, and there is a wide run out. And every video I've seen has people running over the rumble strips and onto the run out, onto the berm, and then coming back. I'm hoping that that will be a penalty of sorts if you do that.
We've talked about that at length, because
that'll affect your carts.
Yeah, that is an off-limits area, except when avoiding an accident or a spin or something like that. The runoff to the far right. It is paved out there. It looks all nice and welcoming.
Sure.
But if it's red, then you're not to be on it, with the exception of one spot that is not in that turn. We ran that when we did our test, and there's nothing to be gained out there. You actually lose time. It's not faster in our carts.
So is that going to be a 4-wheel offense then?
Yes, you get a warning for it's considered a 4-wheel off, unless, of course, like it said in the rules, you're using it to avoid an incident.
Okay. The other area is the chicane, and the videos I've seen are people completely avoid it and go over the berm.
Yeah, and that one is where I talk about that we are going to allow that.
You will?
Yes, that is the area you can go over the berm, as long as you don't run over the very far left of it, because the implications of that, I saw one of the guys who was used to running there a good bit went out in one of our carts, and he jumped it, and it over-revved the motor the time that he did that, because the rear tires came off the ground.
Sure.
So there is a line there, and it is, there's a way to go over it smoothly and keep it straight, and then there's the wrong way. It's just going too far left. There's no need to go that far left to make that jump. So okay. So that really will not be a chicane then. No, no, there's not. The chicane is non-existent. That is that's the only part of that track that I don't, that I feel like they messed up on, and they realized it, so they've just made it smooth and shaved it down some and made it so you can just use it straight on.
Okay. All right. And then one other thing, I know that the driver weight is 200 pounds with ballast, and I noticed that there's a tolerance in there, which kind of I don't know why there is, because when you get out of the cart, at least it was last year, that it was 200 pounds you had to weigh. So in order to kind of avoid going under, it was recommended that you weigh, 204, 205 when you go in,
Right.
if you have trouble with dehydration.
Right.
Effectively, what's happening is with the 2%, you're basically lowering the weight limit to 196. And so, for me, a simple rule is better than a complicated rule.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one of the things I'm considering. I certainly got your point there, and I do like simplicity. So I would say that right now I'm leaning toward just going straight up for 200.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Chris, can you talk about how the track will be lit?
Sure. The track will have light towers that are diesel powered. They are like you see at construction sites.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be about 30 feet up in the air, and we're doing our best to plan those so that they don't shine in your eyes and point more directly down. However, because of the way the track is laid out, I've noticed in our layout that there are a couple of instances that you might get some corner light in the corner of your eyes, or it might not be all perfect. But we're doing our best. We have the lights coming in on Thursday night, so we'll have Thursday night all night to set them up and test them and get them right. So.
Okay.
In addition, there will be we have some small lights that we are putting on the go-karts that will shine up to the number plates. The one in the back will be most effective, so we can get a good view of those, and so you should be able to see the different colored plates and the numbers as you race.
Okay. We are coming in on Thursday afternoon, and read that you can sign in on Thursday. And will the gear, we've actually rented gear, will we be able to pick that up Thursday afternoon?
Yes, absolutely. The more we can do that, the earlier the better that we go ahead and get that done. So
and we're allowed to keep that until the end of the racing on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
And if I could just ask a question about the weight, because we're traveling from upstate New York, and I'm thinking about how long, what we're carrying.
Sure.
So if you're supposed to be over 200, and let's say you're 188, so you have two 5-pound weights, are you suggesting that maybe we bring some 2-pound weights to get to the 200, or overshoot it with another 5-pound weight of yours?
I'd say if you're going to do, I would say if you're at 188, I would just put 15 pounds in the cart and be good.
Okay.
Okay.
That gives you enough buffer.
Okay.
Chris, obviously the cart modification with tape and so forth is not going to be what it was.
Yep.
What is going to be allowed?
Anything that what you can move in 3 minutes is what's allowed.
Okay.
So that's for you to decide what you feel comfortable with being able to take and move in that time period.
Okay.
I recommend maybe limiting a lot of it to the number plate, as long as you don't cover the number, surrounding it with a certain color, and then mounting the battery pack that goes with it. I've actually got one right here. I don't know where this came off a cart from. This came off from another event, but this is all illuminates at night. It has some kind of LED, and then it has this battery pack piece that you could potentially run down and mount zip tie to a portion of the cart. And then if you've got snips and another zip tie, you can move it over really quickly to another cart with the number plate. I think the key, of course, with the lighting is important to be able to help identify your own cart at nighttime. So trying to keep it, and it's tough to do uniqueness. Maybe we need to look at any kind of, I don't know, until we get there, I think until everybody talks about what they've got, it'll be hard to determine how to make a unique cart color or light. You know, the easiest thing would be to put some kind of light on your helmet or on your suit to make sure that you can do it. Just can't be flashing lights. All right. All right. I've got our solo guys that are going to actually join us here in just a minute. Is there anything else that we need to address?
Do you recommend that we have some kind of lit sign to call the drivers in?
I think that's a really good idea, and that one can be flashing. You can have some kind of flashing light in the pits. I think, you know, some people have taken a long painter's handle and, you know, put a swiveling sign on the end of it with some kind of lights. That can be helpful with your number. That is, you know, one of the challenges that we do have here is that we are a little bit away from the track, so the ability to call someone in with a sign at night, if it's not lit, would be difficult.
Okay.
Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you, John.
Hey, so does that mean that we wouldn't be allowed to go to the wall separating pit and track to hold up our sign?
Well, there's going to be traffic coming through there. I'd say that in the event that your radio doesn't work, you can get permission to cross the track to, in emergency, for lack of a better thing, to call somebody in.
Okay.
Sometime at All right. Anybody else?
I had a question regarding, I guess, the driver etiquette section. I know in the past, Johan had a great saying that there are going to be carts going at different speeds. And if someone comes behind you and you kind of feel them, try to go ahead and follow a fast cart rather than block in front of it.
Yeah.
And from a blocking perspective, is that, I've heard it explained in the past where if you zig, that's one thing, but if you zag, that's blocking. I don't know if that's the way it's defined here.
It is, you can take a position, but any of your, you have to be, in the cart in the front, can take a conservative line to block someone. But once that the cart behind takes a position, let's say goes to the outside, any reactive measure taken to the cart behind is then considered illegal blocking. So if you're being reactive to the go-kart behind you, then that is an illegal block. We've got so much time here in this event that, you know, blocking, there's no room for it really. You can take a conservative line and run a line that, you know, basically takes it away, but you're only slowing yourself down. I'll tell everybody that you just need to, you know, run your line. If somebody is faster than you, stay outside for just a half a second, let them go inside and follow them, and then let the clinic begin, and you learn how they're going faster. Like you said, Bill. There's a lot to be learned because there are a lot of teams out here that have some really fast drivers, and we've got from rookies to some pro drivers that they're definitely something to be learned.
You talked about considering 12 fuel stops instead of 10. When would you announce that decision?
Anything will be before Monday. So by the end of the day tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
I got another one. Bradley just texted me. How will we know if the cart has had a maintenance stop if we just got into it, you know, less than a fuel tank? And how are we going to do that then?
If you've gotten into it, it will have had a maintenance stop. Everyone will have a maintenance stop.
So a maintenance stop will be happening at a cart swap.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now we have the Ironmen joining us. We have Tim and Trey, solo drivers, joining in on the call. We're going to start their call here in just a minute. Cover some. We're going to change. Maybe we need to change theirs to the bearded division.
Mine's coming off before the race.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how a balaclava will feel with this thing on. Never tried it before.
So you guys are welcome to hang around if you want to listen to the solo call, or we have any other final questions for the regular entries?
No.
One more?
No.
Oh, I can't hear you, Dennis. You're muted. Hold on. I can't mute you.
So a stop and go will have to go through all those 3 stops plus another stop.
Yes.
Okay,
You don't want to be getting these stop and goes.
I hear you.
Dennis, I can't hear you. Oh. Can you type your question on the other side? Oh, no, he's gonna.
I'm expecting him to start holding up a piece of paper in
I
front
know.
of the screen.
Like my picture. He is writing it, I think. One word. Driver doing a double stint, okay with 20-second stop. Yes. Double stints are fine. You'll just have to do a 20-second hold, and any driver that's coming in for that double stint will indicate to the driver change person there in 20 seconds. Just we say, I'm going to keep going. So you come in and you stop. You can drink something if you can get something in your helmet there. Somebody can bring you something. They can be there to talk about strategy or whatever you need to do. But and then the 20 seconds is up, and then you're free to go. All right. You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
If you have any other questions that come up, do send me a note. The info@procupkarting.com is the best place to send those, and I'll be sure to, if anything else comes up, we'll maybe get a group email back out, let everybody know. If you think we need to do another one of these, just let me know. I'll be happy to do it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good rest of your weekend. So what's up, solos?
You tell us.
Man, ready to race.
That's what we're saying. I mean, everything that you sent sounds pretty good to me. I just had a couple of questions, Tim. I don't know about you, but I think everything, for the most part, looked pretty solid. Just a few things about how we're going to handle it all. So we're doing 15-minute stops instead of 10?
Yeah, I think 15 makes sense as long as everybody's doing the same thing. And the
only reason I asked is because with 10, it gets tougher and tougher to get back in at the end of that. So I mean, Ryan and I were able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, 15. I mean,
You take a nap.
I guess by the end of it, it's still going to be pretty hard, regardless.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not. I felt like the 15 just gave a little bit of more of a cushion for that. I do think it will be very difficult toward the end after watching the third one. So, if you, I mean, I could pose the question to Moriyasu and see what his thoughts are on it, and.
Doesn't really matter to me, like you said, as long as we're all doing the same thing.
What do you think, Tim?
Are we still doing the 20-second stops every 45 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That was another one of my questions too.
That gives everybody, and that with what we have going on and some of the things that happened last year, not in your group, but I think it's good to have everybody coming in every so often and just looking everybody in the eyes and making sure everybody's doing good.
I also think the 10 minimum stops, that's a fantastic idea. That way we're not trying to stretch fuel or anything like that. I guess do all the teams have a minimum 10 stops also?
They do.
Okay. So if there ends up being a red flag situation like we had last year, then you guys will be able to adjust. Like if we have like a 2-hour red flag, then you can take one of those mandatory stops out, or are you going to leave it in?
I'm inclined to leave it in, and you still have to make your stops. I mean, that if you're not making your change of your card at that time, everybody should just go back to racing the way they were. And
So we are gonna. You asked if we wanted to keep the same carts. Are we gonna do that, or are we swapping?
Yeah, stay in the same card.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that idea as well. That way, if we want to tape up the steering wheel or anything like that, we can keep it. My other question was about the mechanical stops. So with everybody else swapping carts, obviously you can take care of the mechanical stuff when the cart's not on the track. But with us, the cart's always on the track. So
well, except for during your 15 minutes.
So you'll just take care of any mechanical stuff during our 15-minute pit stop?
Yep.
Okay, and just do it a couple of times, or lube the chain every time, or whatever it is.
Yeah, we're going to lube the chain every time, give it a once-over every time, and then probably pick 2 windows a time of those to say, let's get them up on, really spend some time, look over, make sure everything's good.
Okay.
Usually those windows come at like between 12 and 14 hours and 8.
Would there be any chance of us running into a situation then where we come in for our 15-minute stop and there isn't any availability to do a mechanical during whatever that window is that you want, or can we just do it at a different time if it's full and not worry about windows?
Yeah, I think that's really a different time, as long as everybody gets in the same, the same stops.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There's something obviously wrong with the cart, and then that that would make sure that we get in that time period.
Okay. Yeah. I ran into a situation last year with I came in for a fuel stop, and we had agreed that we would do 10-minute stops, and then the mechanical was 6, so we could do 3, then 6, and then go. Like 3, then 6, then another minute, and then leave. And somebody pulled into a mechanical while I was still sitting in there for fuel. So I would have either had to do 10 minutes just sitting there, or waste another trip back in for another 6-minute mechanical. Like, it was just
right.
The way that we tried to fit mechanical into our 10-minute stop, it made it a real penalization if the mechanical suddenly got full.
Right.
When you were sitting there waiting. So as long as we don't have something like that where one of us, would get essentially penalized if the mechanical area filled up while we're waiting for fuel to go through or something like that. So if we can just do fuel, push through to a mechanical, since you guys are swapping all the other carts, then it wouldn't really be I don't see it being a problem.
Yeah, it should remove the conflict there.
Good deal. Okay. Let me see if I had any other stuff. This is mainly why I sent you the email the other day, so that I had it written down. For weight, all the teams are weighing 200. Are we going to do the same?
That's up to you guys. I'm going to put on a level playing field. What do you weigh today?
I would say just everybody weigh up to the heaviest driver.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, whatever the heaviest driver.
That way we still have, like, if we want to put a radio in one of those boxes, it's not all full of weight, because I would fill the entire thing up if I was trying to get to 200.
Yeah. I definitely think. What do you weigh, Tim?
185 without gear.
I would think you and Moriyasu are very close.
Okay.
Pretty.
Yeah. So if they, if they're not,
I'm hoping to shave another 5 before then.
Well, you could. I cut my hair. That got some for me. You might lose some more.
I'll shave the beard. But I'm trying to gain another 5 beforehand. So.
Get a little weight transfer there.
Yeah, Tim, if you wanna give me 5, that'll work.
You should have seen my beard when I got back from snow testing. It was
Snow testing?
Face warm.
I work for Michelin, and I just got back from doing all of our snow testing.
Where do they do that?
Like the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Wow.
So basically Canada South.
It's warmer than a lot of places, or it's colder than a lot of places in Canada.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Oh, hey, are there any? Are we looking at a 4th person or no?
No, just 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan just said he couldn't do it. I tried to work with him to get him in, but he's like, I can't do it. And I think it actually works out best for us the way we're using the carts this time.
Okay. Yeah, he told me what was up, and
he's been going through a lot. So let me see what the wife says. There we go. All right. So I think we wait up to that 190 range, 185, 190, and you guys stay the same with that. And we have up to 40 pounds that can go in that box. That should take care of you, shouldn't it, Trey?
With all of my stuff on.
Yeah.
40 pounds ought to put me right at 190.
Okay.
With all my stuff, so
it'll hold.
kind of close, but.
Okay, it'll hold 60, but we don't recommend using that because the carts have developed such a bad push with that much weight sitting there that
okay.
seems to be the best option. So we're limiting it or recommending it. You could try it, but I don't think it's the thing to do.
No, I'd rather not have a horrendous push for 24 hours.
We want tires to last.
Yeah, but I think that'll be fine. I'll do 40, and that ought to put me right at 190 with all stuff on. So at the beginning of the race, at least, I'm sure we'll all be a little bit lighter at the end of it.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Speaking of that, is there going to be are we going to, when we do practice and qualifying, are we going to be able to compare the carts of our class and make sure they're close enough that it really comes down to the driver?
Well, we will have gone through and we will have identified your 3 carts anyway.
Okay. Okay.
So we're going to make sure. I mean, we're trying to get them all super, super tight anyway.
Right.
The big difference we see at this track is that it is a major horsepower track, and it will show any difference there. And that's why one of the reasons we're putting the swap in place for the other teams. And with yours, we'll certainly make sure that you have a good tight grouping, so that we don't want the cart to be a deciding factor, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking of something like maybe the 3 of us could do a swap between the 3 carts somewhere in the race, but that would kind of defeat the purpose of keeping the same cart for the whole race. So.
I'm open to that, but I would say that you guys would probably pretty much need to coincide one of your 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that would be tough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be too tough to nail down. So, I mean, based on the experience last year and the other races I've done with you guys, I have no worries about equalization between the carts. I want to say, what was it last year? It was fastest to slowest cart was 0.2 of a second.
Yeah.
Over the entire 30 cart field. So, I'm pretty comfortable.
Good. Me too.
And we won't be at 10/10 the entire for the whole race anyway. We'll be 10th or 2 off at least.
I'm curious about this track because so many of the turns are fast.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you retired at Daytona because you were turning all the time. In this one, you're going to have a good rest on the back straight, but you're going to have higher Gs.
Yeah, it looks like the G-forces are going to be a little higher. In Daytona, I don't know. I've never been on New Orleans, but at Daytona, the asphalt was made with like seashells, so the grip level wasn't super high at Daytona. I was actually surprised with how we could push the entire 24 hours. So.
And what had happened is, like it happens at Lime Rock, is all that stuff that holds asphalt together, the aggregate together, has eroded, so you have these shards sticking up out of the, sticking up like this, and it was like you weren't actually getting full support. You were dancing across little peaks of gravel and seashells and stuff.
Yeah.
And this track is the complete total opposite. It is fine. It is smooth. It is
high grip.
In some places where there's rubber down,
okay,
it's so smooth, you do get a more consistent surface out of it for sure.
Okay, because I know that at Charlotte, there was no way I could have pushed like I did at Daytona at Charlotte. That wouldn't have been possible. So I'm hoping New Orleans maybe falls somewhere in between.
Just plan for rain.
Yeah, New Orleans, it does rain a lot. If that's the case, we will be able to push, no problem.
Yeah, the rain there. The problem is when it rains just a little bit, it impacts a lot.
Yeah, because it doesn't just rain a little bit. It's 4 inches in a minute.
There's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, we're below sea level down there.
I have a video that I took when we were there last time. It had rained a couple days before, and there was a sound coming from the earth as it was absorbing the water. It was this crackling and snapping sound. It was bizarre. So
That's terrifying.
I do think that if it does rain there, we are more likely to have to go to a red flag type situation for rain there because of the standing water potential.
No rain.
I don't want any red flags. No.
Yeah, no rain.
Tim, I don't know if you got to really have a say on this yet. Motoyasu asked if he didn't have to qualify. Last year we just started at the back, already sitting in the carts, and didn't do a Le Mans style start.
That's fine with me.
I was gonna say I'm totally fine doing that again this year.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about qualifying.
I got my Le Mans style start at Atlanta, so I'm good.
Well, I mean, plus you're gonna have, a drink pouch in your suit and stuff like that, and radio in your pocket or in the cart or wherever you put it, and it's just trying to do a Le Mans start with all that stuff is really tough.
Yeah, I'm fine without that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Chris, if you want to put us up front, like you had talked about last year, you can, but I mean, at the back is just fine.
I think we'll play that by ear. I would think that probably early on, you guys kind of got caught up in the red mist and raced out pretty hard for the first few minutes.
Well, I think Motoyasu was the fastest guy on the track.
Oh, he was insane.
He was lightning.
I mean, 4 hours in, what was he, like 7th place or something?
Something like that, yeah. I just remember coming in somewhere around like the 4.5 hour mark where Ryan and I did our stops then, and he comes over to me, he's like, Motoyasu's got like 6 laps on me. And then I was like, oh crap, it's only 4 hours into the race.
Well, he didn't have enough laps to make up for falling asleep on the massage table.
No, he didn't. Is there going to be another one of those massage tables for him?
That's the plan, yeah.
Okay, good deal.
I'm having trouble finding one down there without the happy ending.
I want Motoyasu to have every opportunity to fall asleep again. That would...
Again with the...
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's pretty much everything I've got. Oh, our refueling area, since we're actually going to be refueling our carts and then getting back into those same carts, what do you want us to do in terms of that? Will it be a separate area set aside? Do you want us to just pull in front of our tent? Like, where do you want us to go for that?
I think that's what's going to happen is your tents will be lined up. I don't know if you saw them on the diagram, just past.
Right at pit out.
Yeah. So yeah, the idea is you guys pull. There's a lot of asphalt around there. You guys can pull up in front of your tent, and then that gives our guys right there will just have fuel and top you off.
Okay. And stopwatch ready and everything. The
Yep.
time for 15 minutes. Okay.
Yep, we'll have the timer. You'll come into the driver change area, and I think that's where we'll start we'll hand you a timer at that point, then you drive over.
Okay. That's a good idea. I like that. When we come in, you guys start a stopwatch and just hand it to the driver, and we'll
Yep.
get over to the pit with us. Okay.
And
I like that.
the 45 minutes starts when we enter the pits, correct?
That's a good question for you guys. I mean,
I would say let's just do that the same as everybody else.
yeah.
That worked out well enough.
Yeah, because what happens is that timing line that is in the pit lane runs to its own computer in the tower. So it runs to the driver. And so we'll have on a way we can keep it very easily. So just do them 45, yeah.
Yeah, Tim, what I had Drew do last year was just he had a stopwatch with him too, and every
Okay.
time I came in, he just hit the lap button on it to start a new 45 minutes, so he was able to call me in whenever it's getting close to that. So as soon as I crossed that line, he started the clock so that we knew, on top of it being in timing and scoring.
Okay.
And that worked out pretty well. That worked out fairly easy. So. And then, if you want to just start when we come into the driver change area, if you want to just start a stopwatch and hand it to us as the drivers, and we can pull over and get our fuel over at our tents.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. That works.
Bathrooms are right there. Everything you need is pretty close walking distance.
Is there grass or dirt anywhere close by?
Yeah, there's let me think. Let me look at the aerial real quick. There is some gravel right behind.
Okay, cool.
So right behind where you guys are, there's a white area that you'll see in the aerial, and that is a white gravel.
Okay.
It's
Sweet.
just on the other side of the fence.
There you go. We can drain our ankles over there.
Okay.
All right. I'm all set. Tim, anything else for you?
Some things that were covered that might interest you guys. That
Okay.
as far as facilities, there is Wi-Fi available there at the track.
Oh, all right. Sweet.
There will be food available during the hours of normal eating times that we're racing. Your tents will be a 10 by 10 tent.
Is each team getting a pizza again?
No, there will be food available there for
Okay.
to go place an order for something there.
Gotcha.
And I guess that was it. You'll get a case of water there, and your area down there, as far as having power, we'll have to look and see what our options are for power.
Okay. Yeah, that was my next question. Was what's the power situation?
We may be able to hook up our small generator down in that area.
Okay. I can't remember what we did for light. Do we need to provide a tent light, or did you guys have something over there? I guess for us it didn't matter. We were right next to the trailer, so we were
Right.
able to get light from your guys' light.
The trailer won't be far away from there. In that diagram, you'll see a white and a black, and the white that will be the white trailer. So I'm thinking we'll probably have that powered up and using to light that same area.
I didn't really look at the maps, but are the solo guys' pit areas going to be near each other, or?
Oh yeah, you're side by side.
Okay.
In fact, I was going to ask you guys, would you might be okay sharing one tent,
All three of us?
or you think we could do two tents?
How about if we maybe all three of us share two tents?
Okay.
Probably do that
Yeah.
just to have a little extra space.
Yeah. All right.
Because we'll fill up a table of like supplies,
Sure. Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I think two tents for the three of us would probably be all right though.
Are you guys going to run a timer, like a lap timer on the cart, Micron or something?
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I am.
I don't own one yet, but hopefully I will soon.
I say I have a beacon if you guys don't have like the one to put out on the track. I have the transmitter for it too.
Okay, I have a couple of them.
Oh,
But
never mind. I don't.
okay.
You might have mine. Actually, I think you do have mine.
Oh, really?
Yes. Did you pick an extra one up at Atlanta?
I know someone did, and I thought they contacted the track and made arrangements, and they shipped it to them. But
Oh, okay, so it's at the track.
it might still be the track.
Okay.
Was it the white and red AIM?
Yeah, that's it. Sitting over on at Pit Out.
Okay.
Sitting over on the light. It was on the caution light next to Pit Out.
Do you have an extra battery on it too, or just a regular solar?
No, it's just the batteries inside it.
Okay.
Yeah, no extra.
I'll be up there sometime. I'll ask and see if they've got it.
Okay. I think it has my name. Thought I had my name on it. I guess not.
You know that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if you see it and you see one with my name on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be happy to get there.
Awesome. Thank you. But yeah, I'll bring a. I was gonna put a Micron on just as a backup for counting time. So if my brother falls asleep or something like that, I know when my 45 minutes is up.
Right.
Be like, why haven't I seen him out there with a sign yet? Oh crap. So.
Come in and throw something at him.
Yes, exactly. Give me one of those stopwatches when I come in. I'll throw that at him.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for joining in today.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. This was a very productive idea.
Well, every now and then I have one.
Chris,
Yeah.
thanks for letting me listen in. I appreciate it.
Sure thing, Bill. That was Bill Judy joining us, by the way.
There was one other thing. Team 45 may need to move from the Masters to the Pros. They're having some juggling going on of teammates, so I don't know what the final outcome will be, but I wanted to let you know.
Okay, we've got another shuffle that's going on too. We've got one that's moving from Masters to semi-pro.
Okay.
And then the I can't remember their number, but the Hooligans are considering a move to semi-pro from Big Boy because they've only got one Big Boy. Everybody else is waiting up to get to Big Boy.
Right.
And they don't want to be in a class by themselves. And I've got one other Big Boy possibility, but you know, I don't mind having one less set of trophies to get.
Does make it easier.
Yep. But we'll see what that turns out to be. Whatever they want to do is what we'll do.
All right.
All right. Thanks for the heads up on that. And is 45? Did they find another driver? Or are they still looking?
They may get Ryan Curtin. I called him up kind of out of the blue. He's kind of been out of it for a little while. Hopefully he'll be able to make it.
He's a machine.
I'm sure he'll be able to kick the rust off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If he put in 3 months worth of work, he would be running solo with these guys. That's what I need to get him to do.
He gave me the excuse that he's an engineer. That's why he doesn't train. And I said, sorry, buddy, that excuse doesn't work. So am I.
You need to give him he's the Georgia Tech guy.
Yeah.
You need to give him the Hokie challenge.
Yeah. Well, I told him at what he was talking about how certain areas get sore, and I was like, you need to work your core, and he's like, I'm an electrical engineer, I don't do core. I was like, well, I'm an aerospace engineer, so it's not a good enough excuse.
Awesome. We'll work on him when we get him out next year. We can get him training to get out there. So.
There you go.
All right.
He'd be a tough one.
He would be. All right. Well, have a good rest of your weekend.
You too, guys.
All right, take care.
Tim. Bye, Bill. See you, Trey.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.